Hey, hey! I've got another murder story for you guys, courtesy of yours truly, Auntie Cuckoo. This story is about kids killing kids. Literally in my backyard. No, not literally, but Pinellas Park, Florida is not that far from where I live now, about 20 minutes. This story, you guys, is about two teenage girls. One of them ends up murdered. Can you guess why? A boy. Who would have thunk it? This story is about Sarah Luderman and Rachel Wade. Sarah Luderman is 18 years old, known as the good girl, gets straight A's. She was actually her parents' miracle child. They weren't supposed to be able to have children, ended up having Sarah. So she was, known as the good girl, kind of a tomboy, didn't really worry about boys that much. Now, the other girl in the story is Rachel Wade. Rachel Wade is 19 years old, and I guess you could say they grew up on opposite sides of the track. Rachel Wade dropped out of high school, was working at Applebee's. She had ran away 14 times before finally getting her own apartment, kind of did what she wanted when she wanted. Like I said, she was a server at Applebee's and trying just to do her own thing and survive after dropping out of high school. So these girls do not know each other at all. Like I said, this happened down in Pinellas Park, Florida. I myself went to Eastlake High School. Our huge rivalry was Tarpon Springs High School, also known as Tampon Strings. Just saying, no hate, love. It was just funny back then, right? We were easy lay. Anyways, Sarah Luderman was actually, like I said, a straight A student and stuff. She would bus an hour all the way up to Tarpon Springs High School to partake in their early veterinary program. That's how dedicated to school she was. And then she met a boy named Josh. I want to say Camacho. To me, it's Josh Cascumbag. Okay, whatever his name is. Camacho, Cascumbag, whatever you want to call it. Okay, he's a douche. Anyways, wonderful, great, sweet Sarah Luderman meets Josh Camacho douchebag and falls in love head over heels. Now, Josh, he is 18 years old and known as a bad boy. He's got that swag and all that business going on, thinks he's a playa, never had a girlfriend, only friends with benefits. Anyways, type of man he is, just to give you some background on Josh Kadouchebag. So, he actually happens to be dating Rachel Wade, also. Sarah and Rachel do not know each other at all. So, these two girls are dating their boyfriend, separately they think, Josh Kadouchebag, and find out on social media, because they're posting pictures of their lovely relationship with their wonderful, faithful, macho man, and happen to see what's going on. They're not happy. Well, these girls have no problem with Josh. It's not Josh's fault. They turn on each other, and it becomes a full-on social media, text message, phone call, terrorizing each other war. So shit hits the fan. Josh literally at one point says to these girls, "If you really love me, you'll fight for me." Okay, so he's encouraging all this business. Sarah, again, like I said, the good girl, she had to be home, I think, at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. So when she had to go home for curfew is when he would leave and go to Rachel's, who had her own apartment, and spend the night with her. So he was mixing this shit up and making a mess. Anyways, like I said, the girls turn on each other. They're flipping out. They're leaving each other voicemails and text messages. One night, Rachel calls Sarah and leaves her a voicemail that says, not word for word, but she does say, "I'm going to fucking murder you." But says, "You really fucked up. I've warned you. Stay away from my man. This time I'm coming for you. If I don't fuck up something of yours, it's you. I will literally murder you. Hang up." Well, Sarah saved that voicemail. So, anyways, this stuff goes on for a year of back and forth nonsense with these two girls. Finally, no, not finally, even to the point where Sarah and her friends are showing up to Rachel's work. I said she worked at an Applebee's. And when she's working, they're sitting in a booth and they're yelling, dirty comments and names to her. As she's walking by with a big tray of food, they would stick their feet out and trip her. They would intentionally throw stuff on the floor, tormenting her. as she did them. Like I said, she left nasty voicemails. A whole girl thing going on. Crazy. When these bitches should have been mad at the scumbag, but we all know what it's like to be a teenage girl. So, this goes on, this goes on. Finally, the night of April 15th, it's actually April 14th, 2009, around midnight, which turns it into April 15th, Rachel's on edge. She's had enough. Sarah's calling her. They're blowing each other up. The girls end up, talking to each other. She's like, where are you at? No, bitch, come and get me. No, I'm going to bust you up. They run into each other. Sarah goes looking for Rachel, and she finds Rachel. Well, Rachel brings a knife to a fist fight. So, Sarah gets out of her van and approaches Rachel, who's standing in the street, and their friends are there. And Sarah, so the witnesses say, threw 3 punches at Rachel's head. Well, Rachel responded with 2 swings with a knife in her hand. After the 2 swings, it is said that she stepped away, disengaged, walked over, sat on a friend's bench, and was smoking a cigarette. Ambulance is called. Sarah's stabbed, blood coming everywhere. Ambulance shows up, and literally Sarah's bleeding out. She dies. So Rachel gets informed of this, and she's like, I had no idea. I was trying to defend myself. The whole shebang comes out about what's going on, how Josh is playing these 2 girls. She literally had like a Applebee's steak knife, like you get, in her hand, and poked, but stabbed Sarah twice in the chest, like just quick jabs. One of them happened to pierce her heart, and that's what caused her to die. So, Sarah ends up dying, unfortunately, and Rachel now has a murder charge on her hands. So she does try, like I said, we're in Florida, the stand your ground defense. And she hired a lawyer that I am familiar with, as many of my friends are and have worked with, Jay Abear, who did a really great job and defended her for the stand your ground. But the thing was that Rachel had walked out into the street and confronted them, wasn't on her own property or anything. She also had used a weapon, but what put the nail in Rachel's coffin was they had the voicemail. When they played that voicemail in court, you can literally hear the jurors, you hear her, I'm going to fucking murder you. Those are the exact words. So that sealed her coffin. So, unfortunately, not only did one family lose, a beautiful life of Sarah Luderman, 18 years old, just starting out, she's gone forever. Rachel Wade was charged with 2nd-degree murder and sentenced to 27 years in prison or jail, whatever you want to call it. So, that's that sentence. Josh, douchebag? Nothing. Nothing at all. Which, I didn't tell you guys, there's actually a 3rd girl in the story who is Josh's baby mama, who had a baby with him before he started screwing around with Rachel and Sarah. Sarah had gotten a fist fight with baby mama, beat her ass. After it's all said and done, Josh is like, I didn't do anything. I don't know what's wrong with these crazy bitches, and goes back to dating his baby mama and continues on with his player, gangsta, wannabe, piece of shit scumbag life. Well, we have Sarah, who is dead and can never continue on with her life and dreams. And we have Rachel, who is, 19 years old when she's sentenced to 27 years in prison, all over some idiot. Anyways, that's my story for you guys. The one good thing I do have out of the story, not that there's really anything good about this at all, but I did hear that Rachel Wade actually works with Jay Abear, the attorney, and they go to high schools and discuss cyberbullying and just bullying in general and stuff. So she does try to do something good with what's happened in her life, obviously, which, you got to give credit where credit's due. To stand up and tell your story, it's got to be hard. So I am glad to hear that they try to do something good with it. But what a devastating story of 2 young girls who had their whole lives in front of them ruined over Josh Kadouchebag. Like I said, his name's Camacho or whatever, but to me it's Kadouchebag. Anyways, that's my story for you guys. I don't know, for my friends that, grew up around here with me, it's always fun. Anyways, I enjoy hearing stories that are like from my hood, from my area. Like next time, maybe I'll tell you guys this story about the murders with the Fat Daddies. Have you guys heard about that? Before Fat Daddies went in there, when it was the lingerie modeling shop. That's another good story. If you're interested, give me some comments. Maybe I'll share the story. Thank you for chiming in, you guys. Stay safe. You know, give hugs, not drugs. Make love, not war. Be kind to one another. Feel free to share. And as always, check out my YouTube channel, Storytime with Auntie Cuckoo. Love yas.